Hi, I'm Vicki Chelf, and I'm the author of Vicki's Vegan Kitchen. And I'm going to show you how to make a soup out of one of my favorite foods in the whole world, and that's collard greens. These are from my garden. Aren't they beautiful? And collards are such a healthy food. They're full of calcium. About a cup of cooked collards has about the same amount of calcium as a cup of milk. And it also even has protein, about 6 grams of protein, and that's the same as an egg. So with this soup, you can use any kind of green, but collards are really good, and so is kale. So this is an easy recipe. I'm not going to really give you exact measurements because it's so easy to do, but you take a dark green leafy vegetable like collard or kale or mustard greens, turnip greens, whatever. And we're going to add that with potatoes. And these are just organic potatoes that I chopped up, diced, and cut out the bad spots, of course. I'm going to put them in a pressure cooker. We're going to use a pressure cooker. Now you can use a normal pan. The only difference will be it's faster in a pressure cooker and you need less water. I'm going to put a chopped onion in there. And now we're going to cut up our collards. Now, if these were very small collards, I would use the stem. I'd just chop it up finely. But since these have been growing in my garden a while, we're going to take out a good deal of the stem. And we wash them good, of course, before. Now, the way I usually cut these is I stack them and I roll them up. And that's easy. You can cut a whole big bunch at once. So there they are, stacked somewhat neatly. You just take it, roll it up. And I'll start at one end. These don't have to be, the smaller they're chopped, of course, the quicker they cook. So we're going to just put the collards in the pot. And remember, they cook way down. And we'll add some water, and just enough to cook it because the main liquid will end up being milk. If it's just a regular pot, you might need more water. Pressure cooker, you need a little less water. So you just cook it until the vegetables are tender, and you don't have to worry so much about overcooking because it's just going to get blended up anyhow. Now we'll put it in a blender. If you have a small blender like this, it'll have to be in a couple of batches. So just put the veggies in the blender. There's some water in the bottom of the pan. We'll use that maybe for the next batch. If you have a Vitamix, you can do it all at once. Or an immersion blender, you can do it right in the pan. But a regular blender or a Vitamix actually makes for a nice smooth texture, better than an immersion blender for this. I'm going to add some soy milk and some white miso. Now white miso, miso is a soybean paste, and it's traditional from Japanese cooking, and it gives you probiotics that just like yogurt or sauerkraut, raw sauerkraut, and it's so good for your digestion, and it adds a lot of flavor too. So we added the miso. We're going to turn on the blender. Okay, well, the soup is all blended up, so I'm just going to put it back in the pot in case we need to heat it back up. Now, you can heat it back up, but don't bring it to a boil after adding the miso. Now, it's not going to make it unhealthy or bad for you or even taste bad, but what it will do is kill the wonderful beneficial probiotics that are in the miso. And we don't want to do that because as it is now, the soup has actually a therapeutic effect as well as being a delicious soup. And stir it up. I add some white pepper if you like black pepper or a touch of cayenne, or if you don't like any sort of piquant taste, don't add any kind of pepper, but I like a little white pepper, so I added about half a teaspoon. Mix it up, and it's still pretty warm, so I'm not going to bother with reheating it. And again, remember, don't boil it. If you reheat it, just heat it up to a nice serving temperature. And use as much liquid, water, or milk as you want to have it a nice consistency, whatever consistency you enjoy. And add more miso if you need it to make it saltier, more pepper if you like. Add whatever herbs or spices you like, and voila, there we go.